Nike is the world's largest sportswear brand, but they earn around 1,000 crore rupees every day. World-class athletes like Ronaldo and Rafael Nadal use their products. Would you believe that the one who built Nike was failed athlete himself and started his business from? And do you know, selling shoes in the trunk of his cars, his story of Nike's founder Phil Knight. Let's start this video. Phil Knight was born in 1938 in a small town named Portland, America. Since childhood, he used to run very fast and his ultimate dreams was to be a great athlete. In school and college, he worked hard on his running and won many races. Along with that, he continued his education in 1962. Well, he completed his MBA. He still wanted to continue running, but one morning during his practice, the faced reality. After dedicating the entire youth running, he had become one of the best athletes of his day. He would not become national and international level. Sadly, he was good, but not great. He was 24 years old and now there was no scope to create an athlete. Hence, that morning, Philip Botha very accepted that his end of his athlete career. He had failed in his dreams of becoming an elite athlete, but he wanted to do something that would always keep him close to the sports. So he connected his running shoes like every runner, that he decided he would do shoes business. Well, starting the chapter 1. Then he remembered that during his MBA, he had studied for several weeks during and wrote a detailed research paper on the business running in the known that Japan camera companies. Due to their improvement quality and low price, disrupted the American camera market. According to the research paper, Japanese shoes could disrupt USA shoes market similarly and overtake Adidas, Puma, the biggest companies of that times. It was a big risk to start a business on the basis of college product, but Philip had no other option that he had decided. That he will import Tiger brand shoes from Japan and sell them in USA. Tiger shoes were manufactured of Japanese company. So Philip corrected the entire saving and took a flight to Japan. Finally, he reached Japan and he was very nervous before the meeting. A boy who was very shy and introverted by nature, but still set off to the partner with a big company. Moreover, Onitsuka executive asked the Philip company name at the very beginning of the meeting. Don't you know? But Philip imagined the blue ribbon in his house. The same ribbon which he got for winning many races and he had blue ribbons. He started to speak out. He said he represented a company called Blue Ribbon Sports. No such company existed back then. But Onitsuka executive was very happy with the name. So, meeting progressed and Philip repeated his college project line by line. At the end, Onitsuka employees were so impressed that they wanted his company Blue Ribbon to sell Tiger shoes in America. It was a deal. Philip gave them address and saved them later, so Tiger shoes running started. There was no limit for Philip's happiness. He transferred money to the Onitsuka shoe sample and returned to America and waited for the sample. 4 months passed. He did not receive any shoe in the response to letter. Then the shoes will arrive soon, but he did not receive in his reality. Philip had not given up the hope, but he needed a job to survive until shoes arrived. So he took the job of an accountancy in a short firm. It had almost a year since the meeting with Onitsuka had almost hope and notice came from the customs. There were 12 shoes from Japan after collecting the shoes. Then Philip unboxed them and showed the shoes to his college coach Bill Bowerman. Bill Bowerman was his college teacher and told him about the business plan. Bowerman liked the shoes so much that he gave him a 50% partnership. Well, do you know, Philip was quite surprised with this offer, but Bill Bowerman throughout his coaching center was obsessed with one thing, and that was shoes. He had been experimenting with shoes for years and had become an expert in shoe design. His full focus was on making the shoe lighter, and he would often take away shoes of his students without asking them, and after tearing the shoes performing minor modifications of several days. The athlete performance would massively increase after modification. Then, Bill Bowerman was also a genius coach and natural leader. He was a good like figure of Philip and rest of the humors, and today the same good like figures wanted Philip business to run. It was no barrier. He shook both of them with 50-50 partnership. Well, the same day Philip wrote a letter to Otankishi and for the exclusive distributorship rights to sell Tiger shoes in Western USA. Also placed first 300 shoes order at the cost of $1,000. The time shoes came on the time and the Blue Ribbon got exclusive dictatorships rights for West USA, what Philip was waiting for. He immediately quit his accounting job, came focused completely on business. He stored the shoes in the basement for his parents' shoes. This was the office of Blue Ribbon now. It was a time where he has to sell the Tiger shoes to the many customers. Everyone refused to sell Tiger shoes in their shop. But Philip did not have money to open his own shop, so he came up with an idea. He filled a truck of his car with shoes and started reaching wherever he was in athlete competition. He spoke to coaches, athletes and spectators to speak about them and start presenting the shoes. Philip had tried sales but wasn't successful. But do you know the time of response customers shocked Philip. His shoes were selling like hotcakes. He had been an athlete himself and so understood athletes' problem very well. Since he was easily able to convey the customers that the Tiger shoes were best of them, and started in just 2 months he sold first shipment of 300 shoes and placed an order of 900 shoes this time. But his total earning was only $2,000 and the total cost of order was $3,000. So Philip asked for the $1,000 loan from the bank for first time, looking a strong business of Blue Ribbon. Approved a loan and Philip finally had a career and he was enjoying deeply. Well, what happened actually? He had trusted a partner like Bill Bowerman, and a product was selling by itself. In short, Philip was having a great time. But then there comes a twist in his story, that a tough times that he has faced. The tough time, a wrestling coach wrote a letter to Philip that he had claimed that he had just returned from a meeting with Otankishi in Japan and the Otankishi has given him the rights to be the exclusive distributor for the whole America. Well, coach orders Philip to immediately stop Tiger shoes business. But only 2 months has passed since Philip started his business and was a verge of closure. He immediately wrote a letter to Otankishi asking for the clarification, but there was no response for them, so Philip decided that he will go to Japan and confront Otankishi. During his meeting, Philip had it clear on how he had been sales and how his strong sales had been working. Explained the future plan. Next day, we directly met company owner Mr. Otankishi. He extensively trusted Philip. But Mr. Otankishi said that the Philip passion reminded him for the youth days, and he gave him the Philip Western USA distribution again. Philip revealed, but the problem was not far from here. Blue Ribbon achieved $8,000 in sale at a competition of first time hired a salesman named Johnson to expand his territory and that he would be an athlete like Philip. He was extremely passionate about his work and that's why the sale reached $16,000 in the second year of business. That means it was going to double by surprisingly. This became a big problem for them. Philip wanted to grow very fast. So as soon as possible for one shipment was sold out, he doubled or tripled the other. But they had no investment in the entire profit of the payment. And also he had taken a loan from the bank, which basically after 1 year of his business, Blue Ribbon had incurred a debt of thousands of dollars and a cash flow was negatively due to him. Refused to give him the further loan and suddenly there was no cash to run the business. Philip had to arrange money somehow for the Blue business rivalries, but hence he took up the job of an accountancy at PwC. He started investing his entire salary in the business. On the other side, the partner Bill Bowerman was shocking improving the Tiger shoes. Then Bowerman realized that the American's body is longer and heavier in comparison of Japanese. So that's why their shoes should also be different. Bowerman tore shoes too and conducted a turning point session in between them and combined this all and made a different shoe. He designed an ultimate subsequent training shoe for America and named the shoe Protest. Otankishi started manufacturing of cotton shoes, became super successful as soon as they entered the America. Due to film management and bromance shoe designing, the entire America in the next 5 years was on a great brand. Sales touched 1.3 million by 1971, and his business was doubling every year with his Philip quit his job and joined Blue Ribbon full time. It was going absolutely perfect when a huge bloom came from Japan. What was that? Seeing the success of Blue Ribbon, Otankishi felt greedy. And when they felt greedy, they wanted to keep the entire income from the Tiger shoes for themselves. They gave an ultimate to the Philip: if they doesn't sell 51% of Blue Ribbon stake to Otankashi, they will give the distributorship of America to someone else. Philip felt quite shocked and hurt. It was a big fraud with him, and Otankashi had played talking about the Blue Ribbon. So Philip took the biggest decision of his life. Origin of Nike. Origin of Nike. Philip gathered his team and told them to do that awaiting which you are waiting for. The time to sell someone else's brand was over. Now, the time was to create the own brand, which with this broke the partnership with Otankishi and decided to manufacture shoes of his own brand. The first step was to create a new logo. Philip wanted his brand's logo to awaken a sense of running, sense motion, and sense of victory. Well, Pulse, the logo must fit the side of the shoe. He hired a graphic design student to design the logo. After a few days, the student showed several designs. Employees selected a curved logo that looked like a thick check mark. Philip thanked the graphic design student for the help and paid in the fees of $35. And soon after the logo was made, he started his own brand name Falcon, and Dimension 6 was suggested. But the first salesman of the company, Jeff John, told that he was a very good name in his dreams last night, and name was Nike. In the Greek, the goddess of victory is called Nike. That's why the name was suitable. After his Philip hired a third-party manufacturer to make shoes, his Nike sent the designs and the shoe manufacturing started. Next, finally, new brand shoes were launched for the whole world officially on 30 May 1971. Then, but unlike today, no one knew that Pulse brand like Adidas, Puma and Tiger were a big competitors of Nike, which were capable of crushing a new brand. That's why Pulse used a strategy for marketing Nike, which nobody used in 1970s. They saw the runners like to wear the shoe of the same brand, which world's best athlete wore. Then some Nike got into a deal with best runner of that time, Steve, to promote it at $5,000 annually, and Nike became one of the first brands, and then they used for athlete brands and marketing strategies. Soon Philip's second strategy was to strategically select his sales team. Nike also always choose to hire the other athlete themselves, or were very passionate about athletes. This meant that the sales team would understand problems and needs of the customers, which were mostly athletes, which ultimately lead to improved quality of product design, sales and after sales services. Apart from these two strategies which Philip grew his bigger older was his experience and the Bowerman's shoe designing. Soon as a result, Nike became a team to 2,700 employees by 1980s and $270 sales million and had become the US largest athlete company by beating Adidas. Philip felt really created the strong athlete brand in USA, but then a company entered which was known as shook Nike as it was Reebok. When Reebok came, it was the end game of Nike, but Nike was not. The main focus was only to make it best for sports. Look and style was never their focus. Well, by 1980s a major change came through in fashion trend and athletes' shoes taste. People were not happy with just a strong and better. They wanted shoe that attractive look and was stylish along with the performance. Due to this, and Reebok gave the customers just that they wanted. Eventually, customers started getting disconnected with Nike. The company suffered loss for the first time and had to lay off employees. Reebok surprised the Nike in 1986 and as the biggest athlete in shoe company. Nike had to do.
Well, this was all about Nike and Air Jordan's powerhouse of the performance and style. Well, failure is seen by everyone, but Nike became the $100 million company. And I wish you also do something very great in nature and be a book like Reebok. And in 1990, this became the world's largest. Failure comes and goes, but you have to run behind your success. Till then, be thankful. Goodbye.